Welcome to a video demonstration of 3 benchtop depaneling machines that are part of the Fancort family of depaneling products. These 3 machines, the VPD3-1 manual and motor driven and the NTM300, are user-friendly benchtop depanelers used for scored panels in a medium to high PCB production environment. Both the VPD3-1 and NTM300 have relatively small footprints, are easy to load, operate with a touch of a foot pedal, and require almost no maintenance. The VPD3-1 is built on a heavy frame with wide legs for stability and is electrically driven using a linear and round blade to achieve a smooth, stress-free separation of the score line of the circuit board. The round blade, driven by a direct drive motor, moves over the score line, which is supported underneath by the linear blade. The 2 standard blades, Style B, have a flat on one edge and a bevel on the other side. If you are separating boards with parts alongside or near the score line, you need only place the panel on that side of the blade so the parts will not be damaged. The operator supports the panel on the front side of the machine while the blades do all the work. This saves on operator fatigue and possible wrist and hand stress and provides a smooth, burr-free separation during each and every cycle. A manual version of the VPD3-1 is available with the same heavy-duty frame. The upper round knife is moved by the operator on a high-quality, precision linear bearing that is built to maintain the alignment between the upper and lower knives. 2 mechanical stops are also provided on the linear bearing to set the travel of the upper knife. Let's see how easy it is to separate the boards from this panel. The NTM300 is a very heavy-duty, pneumatically driven production machine which utilizes 2 wedge-shaped linear blades to achieve a smooth, stress-free separation. The panel is inserted between the 2 blades and is supported by the lower blade. The gap between the blades has been set with just enough clearance to accept the panel only where there is a V-score. If the operator attempts to insert the panel in any area without the V-score, the panel will not fit. This feature is a safety for the operator and the boards and is unique to this depaneling machine. When the foot switch is activated, the upper blade moves down at a slight angle. The upper blade then shears the panels with a gentle rocking motion as it reaches the end of its travel. This virtually eliminates stress to even the most fragile components and solder joints that may lie along the score line. In fact, this machine can safely separate boards with components and solder joints as close as 0.5 millimeters from the score line. Now, let's see how the VPD3-1 is set up to separate the boards on this panel. First, the gap between the circular blade and the linear blade must be set. To do this, unlock the arm knob on the side of the circular blade housing. Adjust the circular blade height by using the round knob above the locking arm knob. The circular blade should be adjusted as close to the linear blade without touching. This can be achieved by sliding a piece of paper between the blades. The paper should slide through, but with resistance. Once the blade position is set, retighten the arm knob. Second, we will program the length of the travel of the circular blade over the linear blade. The length will be set for the length of panel separation that is being processed. Manually push the circular blade to a starting point indicated by the 2 red lines at each end of the linear blade. Turn on the power and put the manual auto button in the manual position. Next, simultaneously press the middle button and the arrow button in the direction in which you want to program the blade to travel. The blade will move until you release the button. The number on the LED screen will indicate in millimeters the length of the travel of the circular blade. To save the programmed travel length, press the middle button again and it will light to indicate a saved position. Now, press the manual auto button again to put the machine in auto. Press the foot pedal and the circular blade will return to the starting position. You are now ready to cycle the circular blade back and forth. Third, the speed of the movement of the circular blade can be set to one of 4 preset speeds. Speed is set as desired by the operator or dictated by the design of the panel being processed. For example, less dense boards or boards without fine pitch components on the edge will probably use a higher rate of speed. Conversely, denser boards or boards where there may be a fine pitch component near the edge may require a slower speed. The fourth and final part of the setup involves the table or stage on either side of the linear blade. This 6-inch wide stainless table has adjustments for height and angle in relation to the linear blade. The table can be set so that it is just underneath the printed circuit board as it is being processed, thus providing some support as it is placed on the linear blade. Or it can be set lower and provide a catch as the boards are separated from the panel. Angling can be used to allow boards to slide away from the machine after separation and, if required, slide into a receptacle. We are now ready to load a panel onto the linear blade and separate the individual boards. While placing the panel onto the linear blade, care must be taken to ensure that the linear blade is on the score line along the entire length of the score. Moving the panel slightly from side to side is a way of ensuring this is done. On some panels, it may be advantageous to hold the panel at a slight angle to achieve edge clearance for some components. This would depend upon the design of the printed circuit board and is determined by application. After we have separated the first strip of boards, we reduce the travel of the upper blade to increase throughput. The operator also became more proficient in the handling of the individual strips, as you can see. Finally, a fixture can be made to hold one or more strips to further increase throughput and reduce handling. It took a total of 4 minutes to separate the board in this panel. As you can see, the VPD3-1 combines ease of use with high precision repeatability and is geared for optimal long-term performance. This cutting action is particularly suited for double-sided boards populated by bottom-side components because there is clearance on both sides of the board. The VPD3-1 will protect your investment as it can be used to depanel any board that you may need to process in the future. One example of this is a board that may have components crossing the score line. These are processed by placing the board upside down onto the linear blade and modifying the linear blade with a clearance cut where the component lies across the score line. Operator safety is assured with a built-in light curtain to guard against anyone putting their hand in front of the moving round blade. This is just one example how the VPD3-1 depaneler and Fancort Industries can help you to meet your depaneling needs. Now, let's examine the NTM 300. As stated earlier, this machine with its wedge-shaped linear blade moves down to the score line at a slight angle and shears the panel with a gentle rocking motion. This eliminates the possibility of shock, stress, and tension to nearby components caused by the guillotine stroke employed by most depanelers. This in turn enables the NTM 300 to process panels with components within 0.5 millimeters or 20 thousandths from the score line. The setup of the NTM 300 could not be easier. Once you have hooked up your air line to 85 pounds per square inch, the only adjustment that is required on the machine is the gap setting between the blades. This is done by turning the blade adjustment knob on the front of the unit. The distance between the blades is set by sliding the panel onto the lower blade at the score line. Using the blade adjustment knob, adjust the upper blade down toward the printed circuit board until it is as close to the printed circuit board as possible. The panel should still be able to slide on and off the lower blade from the front where it is inserted. However, the score line should not be able to move off the blades if the printed circuit board is moved from side to side. Now, let's process a panel on the NTM300. The operator inserts the panel from the front of the machine and slides it between the linear blades. This results in efficient separation at the score line each and every cycle. The NTM300 is also very safe. The maximum opening of the blades is .150, so there is no safety risk to the operator. Once the panel is loaded, the foot pedal is pressed and the panel is separated. It took a total of 3.5 minutes to separate the boards in this panel with a minimum of handling. Thank you for your interest in Fancort Industries' growing family of depaneling equipment for scored and tab-routed boards, including a tabletop programmable router. For more information, a price quote, to discuss your particular application, or learn more about the full line of Fancort Industries products, visit our website at www.fancort.com or contact Steve Hoover by phone at 1-888-FANCORT or by email at shoover@fancort.com.